let's start off the episode. So, welcome back to the Fantasy Hockey Podcast. For one, for all the people that are with us, 67 concurrent viewers. Did not expect that on a Friday afternoon, but here you are. So, let's start off with. So, we promised last episode, and we promised the last at start that we'd talk about the left wing lock story. So that's going to be the first 10 take of the day. We'll give you, for those people that don't know what happened, let's give a little rundown on what happened with left wing lock.
Well, wait a minute. Did we get a welcome to the Fantasy Hockey Podcast?
We did. I did. I said, welcome back to the Fantasy Hockey Podcast.
Wow, that was the lowest. I didn't even notice.
That was the lowest energy one you've ever gotten. I know. It is. It is definitely it was definitely the lowest one. I don't know. It just doesn't feel the same on a stream. We've been talking for a bit. You know what I mean?
Fair.
I don't know.
For those of you listening to the pod, we are recording
this
live.
Podcast. There you go.
Okay.
I bring the energy. Brandon brings the.
I settle it down.
You settle it down. It down. So, anyways, the left wing lock story. So, I think this was 2 years ago. So 2 years ago was when we were going to start doing our draft tool.
Year and a half.
And
probably.
so I had the idea. Sorry.
Year and a half, probably, because I think it was in August or something.
Something like that. So so I had this idea of starting a fantasy hockey tool, a draft tool, where what it did was so that anybody that wanted to draft could go in, and I thought of it as this idea at the time, right at the beginning. I thought of it as this way to also promote our favorite kind of draft kits. And so the idea was to pull in the rankings from these draft kits while hiding the actual stats. So you got to kind of look and see which one you liked the rankings of the most. And then if you wanted to buy it, you could go to that kit with all the stats and everything kind of password protected. What I did that was stupid there was I kind of announced it without A, talking to people, and B, without really fleshing out the idea very much. I just got really excited and I shared it without really disclosing the details of like, oh, everything's gonna be password protected and things like that. So I messed up on that front, on both of those fronts, and so I can. Anyways, so we get to the story of where Left Wing Law comes in. We're on their forums, and one day, all of a sudden, I can't access the site, but I can access the forums, and so I'm a little confused on what's going on. And so I go on to the forum and I message Mike and I'm like, hey, what's up? What's going on?
Mike runs Left Wing Lock if you don't know.
Yeah. So then 2 hours later, I go back on to check. I'm at work. I go back on to check what's going on. And I go to my message with Mike, and my image has been changed to a literal poop stain on, I think it was a diaper? Or a towel? I think it was a diaper. They changed my profile picture and Brandon's to one of a poop stain, literally. And he hasn't responded. And of course, so I reach out to him like, hey, I don't think that's really necessary. I'm trying to work this out with you and like see a way to help you guys out and not give it out. As like, I totally understand if you guys.
To be fair, when this happened, we didn't know. I think our first thoughts was that somebody like hacked our account. Like that was my first. Like somebody got the password and like changed and like was playing a trick on us. And it wasn't until later that we like kind of realized what was going on.
Yeah, and then so I reached out and I was like, look, we haven't released it. We won't release it if you're not comfortable with it. But is there a way that we can work with you to make it, comfortable? We hadn't released it to the public. No one's seen it. I think maybe only patrons had seen it at that point to beta test it to make sure nothing was broken.
Literally 12 people had copied the sheet so far.
Yeah, so. 12 people had access to the sheet. And he got just super furious without talking to us. He never talked to us. We never, ever received a response from Left Wing Lock on anything, even when we tried to talk about anything. For the record, we reached out to Dauber. We reached out to a few people, and everyone was like, oh, yeah, this sounds like a great idea. And we actually ended up just all around moving away before we released it to what is now the draft kit, right? It's something that you copy and paste after buying. So we completely redid it after, thinking about it a little bit more after this. But the story gets crazier. You can tell the rest of it, Brandon, because it gets kind of insane after we reach out to him. Then he blocks us entirely from the site. Yeah. No access to the site anymore. And then what does he do?
I'm literally still blocked from the site. Well, the funny thing is we worked at a pretty major company at the time. Well, I should say we worked at FanDuel at the time.
Yeah.
In an office with, I don't know, hundreds of people in it.
300?
Yeah. And he blocked the entire office, which was weird. But so he blocked basically any IP that was associated with the FHP brand or name or whatever he blocked. And so like we for the most part we still didn't really know what was happening. Like, we kind of like put the pieces together that like maybe he cares about the draft kit. Like what else could it be? So we just kind of like gathered that maybe that's the deal. And I think somebody may have tipped us off about it, like because there was chatter on the forums that we couldn't see. But I mean, he blocked by IP, so it wasn't exactly difficult to get back in the forums and see if we really wanted to see what was going on. And that's kind of how we knew that it was him that had done all this instead of talking to us. And so we posted a Reddit post. And in fact, if you go to the Fantasy Hockey subreddit, you want to see more details about all this thing. If you just look up Left Wing Lock story, or just even story in that subreddit, you'll find this really quickly. But so we posted the story like detailing all the events, and his response to that, again, and still without ever emailing us or doing anything, he emails, I don't even remember who it was, but like executives at FanDuel saying that we like stole content and we're like monetizing it or something. And so like the FanDuel lawyers are like, they didn't really know who we were, to be fair, but they were like, who are these people? And then like sent it over to our like little section of FanDuel called Draft. And we were like, wow, what an asshole. And then of course nothing happened, because why would anything happen? Like, I don't know what his plan was there, other than to try to get us fired or something. But like, if you really wanted to do something, you should have sent us a cease and desist, which we ceased and desisted without even being asked. We just kind of figured what was going on. Yeah.
Well, so what was crazy was like, we reached out to him multiple times. We reached out to Left Wing Lock multiple times, and his solution was not, hey, let me talk to these guys and tell them I'm not okay with this. Even though we reached out and said, hey, if you're not okay with this, like, it's like, it's not, all you need to do is reach out to us and say, hey, I'm not comfortable with you releasing this. No, let's go after their jobs. Like, that was his solution to this whole thing.
Didn't work, by the way, but
insane. It didn't work. They told us, they were like, we don't care. Just, you didn't do anything illegal, right? And we were like, no. They're like, okay, fine. So yeah, it was just, it was really nuts. So anyways, that is the story.
I've heard, like, I mean, I don't want to harp on it anymore, but I've heard that things have gotten even weirder over there. Recently, somebody reached out about, he wanted, I don't know, I guess via us, to release some information about them, because he knew that we had that spat a year and a half ago. But he told me that essentially, like, he's gone off the deep end, and I think he like either stopped the forum entirely or has stopped the live chat portion of it or something, and is like banning people left and right for saying anything counter to what he thinks. Yeah. So
it's not great.
Yeah, he's a character, to say the least.
That's the Left Wing Lock story. It is a fun one. I remember I was very nervous for a bit there, because
I wasn't that nervous. I knew nothing was really going to happen. It was just annoying.
I don't have the brains of Brandon. I also don't handle stress as well as Brandon. So Brandon was fine. He was like, this is fine. I don't care. And I was like, dude, what the hell is going on? We're going to lose our job. It's like, it was just, I was a mess. But I'm okay now. So anyways, that is the first take, a long take about Left Wing Locks. So let's move into the rest of them and talk about just kind of, normal hockey. So let's go on to the second take of 10 takes.
Yeah. My first take is about Boston's power play situation, which is annoying for many of us GMs. Nick Ritchie apparently has lost favor to David Krejci, which I guess shouldn't be terribly surprising, other than the fact they play a pretty different role. And I actually think this may have come about with Grzelcyk returning more than anything, because Krejci does tend to play, out on the blue line and kind of being like a second quarterback almost. Whereas Ritchie is net front presence. So it seems like a bit of a change to the power play altogether. But, I mean, mentioning Grzelcyk here, obviously the next person who lost out is Charlie McAvoy. I don't know, man. I still don't quite get it. I feel like their power play was pretty good. I mean, I admittedly didn't look up the stats on it, but it's Boston's power play, and Ritchie was doing a pretty good job factoring in on it. So I don't know if this is going to be something that sticks around long term or not, but I guess we'll see. I'm not thrilled, and I did drop Ritchie in one of my leagues as a result. And the longer this goes on, the less valuable Richie becomes, as he was already starting to lose a little bit of ice time, and his peripherals have been coming down anyway. So,
Yep. Yeah, I've thought about grabbing Nick Ritchie a few times now, but yeah, that change in the power play kind of changed everything for me, and I'm out now. My third take, or the third take, is about kind of the goal scoring. You know, we talked so much about it. Keeping Carlson actually posted this. I think it was Keeping Carlson, a stream scheme, that posted this today or yesterday, where they were talking about the goals per division per game, and the North at the beginning was very high scoring, but it started to normalize as of late, and now the divisions are kind of getting a little bit more even, actually, in a goal per game perspective. So it's something to keep an eye on, you know, especially as we get here close to trade deadline season, which is just a few days away for most leagues. It does seem like the North scoring is coming down a bit. So don't, you know, put all your eggs in the North basket when it does seem to be that all the divisions are kind of performing equally when it comes to kind of offense.
yeah, I still feel like if any one of the divisions is going to be the one to go back up in scoring, it's the North. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, my next one is ESPN. 7 years of NHL.
Yes.
To be honest, I don't know how to react to this, like at all. I feel like there's been such a long history of ESPN not caring about hockey, even when they were involved in any fashion. So it's yeah. I hope for the best. You know, I want to be cautiously optimistic here, but hope for the best, fear for the worst, and just see what happens, I guess. You posted, maybe we can tweet this or put it in Discord or something, the Stephen A. Smith's reaction to ESPN picking up hockey and like how he doesn't know anything, which I think is kind of what's concerning, right? Like their main analysts have no idea what's going on with hockey or like even what it is. So we'll see. Let's just see.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, look, here's the thing. Here's the way I see it is like that the way you don't pay that much money for TV rights if you're not going to go into it. You know, if you're not going to lean into it and create good production around it.
They should hire Jay and Dan from TSN.
Yes.
That's what they should do.
They absolutely should get Jay and Dan.
Dan got laid off. Jay, I'm sure, is unhappy in general. Like
he cried last time. I mean,
yeah, I don't know how he's been since then, but I guess it's his show now. But that would be the play.
Yeah, or maybe they just get Dan.
Just Dan. I don't think Dan can stand on his own. I feel like Jay might be able to, but Dan is the perfect complement to something else.
I'd agree. I think I'd agree with that, honestly. I think, yeah, I have to agree with that, unfortunately. Okay, so what is your fourth take? Oh, yeah, your fourth take was ESPN. So here's my fifth take is a little bit of both, actually. So one, you know, we went gluten-free for a little bit, but now bread is back on the menu. Panarin is back. So congratulations. No more gluten-free allergies for us. We've got bread back. The other thing is fire David Quinn. Like, seriously. Why are I don't understand what the Rangers are doing. I mean, how is Brett, oh my God, every 2 minutes, he just hits the shuffle button. Every time. It's insane. There is no consistency. The team just does not look good. It's just, he frustrates me so much. And he clearly plays favorites. So clearly plays favorites. I'm just so over David Quinn. I want him out. I mean, especially when you've got Gallant sitting there. I would take Gerard Gallant all day over David Quinn. It's clear that, you know, I think they just don't want to shake things up or something, but it's just not pretty. I'm not buying into this. I'm done.
Yeah, another Ranger rant from Gamby. My next take here is just kind of reflecting on the Barclay Goodrow Adam Ernie fight from Thursday night. I don't know if you saw it, but considering how brutal hockey fights can be, and I mean there was a knockout involved in this fight, so it's going to gain more attention than typical. It's always interesting to me how enforcers kind of treat each other. Like there's definitely like a bit of a brotherhood going on between these types of players, and you could see like if they were like really like bad people essentially that just want to hurt somebody else, Goudreau could have let go of the jersey when Ernie was falling. And honestly, like the natural reaction probably would have been to do that. Had he done that, Ernie's head would have bounced off the ice with no helmet on. But what we saw was Goudreau realized he knocked out Ernie. He knew, and hold the jersey, hold him up off the ice, and kind of like let him down gently. Almost certainly saved Ernie a serious injury. So
Yeah,
it's just good to see that. And like, I feel like if you watch mic'd up hockey fights, you kind of get a better idea of what's going on for the most part, except for Ryan Reeves. I feel like Ryan Reeves just hates everybody. But besides him, it seems like everybody's pretty amicable considering the fact they're punching each other in the face.
How much would we need to pay to get Ryan Reeves on this show? We need to get Ryan Reeves on the show.
I think we could manage it if we tried hard enough.
If we tried hard enough, I think we could do it. It's got to happen one day. You know what we've got to do actually is we've got to set up a episode where we have Ryan Reeves coming on and Evander Kane, but they don't know that they're going to be on the same show. Then we bring them in to the middle, and they get surprised by each other on the same episode. Now that would be gold. Okay, my next one here is on Matt Murray. 7 goals against. Twice. What? I mean, granted, the team in front of him is not good, so there's only so much you can blame on him, but at the same time, I mean, geez. Matt Murray seems to have just fallen off a deep end at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they've got
insane.
other options, so I don't know they necessarily need to start Murray forever. Like, it seems like Dackard's been playing better.
Yeah, I do like Dackard. I mean, I have him in Dynasty. I've been holding him for a bit. He does look pretty good. He played well at NCAA levels last year. Yeah, I don't know. I think I mean, it's crazy just how much Matt Murray has fallen. That glove hand is atrocious. I'm curious to see how long he remains a starter in the NHL. Honestly.
Yeah. It's funny
but actually, there's a lot of bad goalies out there. I think maybe after this, he moves on to be more of a backup role somewhere eventually. Although they signed him to a pretty long deal, didn't they?
I don't remember what his contract is, but yeah, I remember it's fairly favorable to him. Dackard.
I'm gonna look that up right now. You take your next take. I'm gonna look up his contract.
Yeah.
Dackard.
Goalie's been more unpredictable than ever, so that's an interesting tie-in to my next take here, which is so this. I feel like this season more than any is bizarre in how well backups are doing comparable to starters. Like pretty much any starter, especially like the top names that we had, are being outperformed by their backups, with the exception of course, Andrei Vasilevsky and to an extent Connor Hellebuck. But you look at like Khudobin, you look at Jake Allen and Carey Price, and even, I had one other example, and now it's gone directly out of my head. I should have written the examples down, but
Straight out of your head.
Oh, Drieger, of course, and Bob. So, not that anybody really expected a ton from Bob, despite the better play lately, but
Hey, I expected from Bob, but
of course,
not surprising.
Of course. But it's just been. I think it just adds extra fuel to the kind of weight on goalies in most leagues. Fire. I feel like the people that have done the best in goaltending are the ones that waited late and got Islander goalies or picked up Lankinen. You know, that turned out to be a pretty good move. Or really that just streamed out goalies. You know, like you could have drafted Cam Talbot and then wound up with Kakkonen and improved with the Kakkonen grab. So Halak and Rask as well. There's just been no certainty, with the exception of Vasilevsky, who apparently is certain. Although
and Hellebuck.
he's been beaten up a bit by Detroit recently. So
Hellebuck and Vasi seem like the only two that are.
Has Hellebuck's numbers actually been good though? Like maybe better than his backup, but
yeah, he's been good.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, of course. Now I'm looking this up right now real quick. I don't want to be wrong. But yeah, last I checked, and I mean, I own him in my keeper league. He's been ridiculous at times. I mean, especially with the team that he has in front of him. You look at like the games he played. He has currently a 911 save percentage. He's actually come down quite a bit in his last few games, because in his last
Yeah.
few games he's kind of gotten lit up a little bit. He's played against Toronto and Montreal and such, and that's certainly brought down his numbers.
Yeah. Oh, and Hart and Elliott,
but
of course. Carter Hart.
yeah.
Um,
Although, yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on with Carter. It's
It's
ridiculous.
I will never draft a goalie high ever again. I think unless it's
Yeah,
Vasilevsky. I just
I'm
can't do it.
yeah, I'm done with that. Okay, so my next take here is on the draft lottery changes potentially. It looks like they might be reacting to the Rangers winning the lottery too many times. It's funny how Edmonton can get first so many years in a row, and no one cares. The Rangers win the lottery twice, and everyone loses their minds. It's just weird. But anyways, so some of the draft lottery
Everybody has pity
changes
for Edmonton at this point.
potentially. Yeah, apparently it's you can't win the lottery more than twice in a 5-year period. So that's one of the proposed rule changes. The second one is that you're only allowed to jump up 10 spots max. And lastly, there's only going to be 2 spots up for a lottery spot as opposed to 3 at the moment. So it almost feels like getting that third worst spot is maybe the best spot to be in, potentially. Maybe like the safest. I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's just weird. I don't hate the changes, honestly. I do think they're a little rash.
I don't know if they solve a problem. I feel like
I don't like. Yeah, I don't. This is. I think one thing that's kind of funny is, to me, it kind of, the draft lottery is random, or for the most part, it is very random with weights. Why not change the weights instead of changing how often they can win it?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's because you're just messing with randomness there. If someone can't
Well, they're also
win
trying
it
to deal
more
with
than
tanking,
twice,
I guess, in tandem.
yeah. But that's the thing. The Rangers didn't tank. They won because of random luck.
Yeah.
It's not like it was fixed or anything. And so I do like the changes. I think the only one that to me is a little weird is the 2 wins in a 5-year period. I think that's kind of weird. I don't like that one. I do like the change of not being able to jump more than 10 spots. I think that's really smart. And I do like the idea of only 2 being up for lottery. I don't like the 2 for 5. I think, or 2 in 5. I think that's just, you're penalizing luck. If you get lucky, you get lucky. That's the whole point of the lottery. The whole point of the lottery is that you put things out there and you just see if anyone gets lucky. As soon as you do 2 in 5, like,
Well, 2 and 5 is a
just-
pretty
it's
hard
weird.
mark to hit in its own. I don't know that this will ever really stop anything. Hopefully.
Well, it is.
I mean, if
but that's
somebody,
what I'm saying.
it might
is
stop Ottawa, I guess. If they keep
It's
getting
clearly it's clearly an overreaction to some teams winning twice in the past.
right, but like twice is. This is really only stopping for them to win a third time, which is so unlikely. Like it's possible, I guess, if you just get last constantly, but it's more of an Edmonton
Right.
rule than anything. But
But the thing is, if you win the lottery twice, I mean, it's luck, right? So then now what? Let's say you win it twice in a row. For 5 years, you
for
can't
3
win
years,
the lottery.
right? It'd be rolling.
In a 5-year period.
I know, but after 3 years, your first one would be gone the next year, so you'd only have one win.
Right.
In the
Okay.
last
So
5
it's a
years,
little bit
so
less.
It shouldn't be
It's
too
still
bad,
just-
honestly. I don't think
it's
I don't know that it
it's still
fixes
kind of
anything, but
ridiculous, though. I think it's still kind of ridiculous because that's the whole point of the lottery, is that if you play poorly, it's not like, let's say the Rangers won it, right? And I'm not angry about it being the Rangers. I think it's just for any team that this happens to. The Rangers are in a rebuild, right? But they're not so bad to be all the way at the bottom. So what happens? They get placed into a proper lottery that weights them based on where they finished, right? That's fair. That is the fair way to do it. Now, they win the lottery twice. They are not a team yet that's going to compete for the playoffs. So what are the Rangers stuck in now? They're stuck in this weird middle ground where the lottery doesn't matter. Like, they can't do anything in the lottery, and they also can't really make the playoffs. So I think it's pretty unfair to a team that's in a rebuild, and that you're competing for a playoff spot like you should and not tanking. But then at the same time, you're also not eligible for the lottery anymore. What? Because you got lucky? It's just weird to me. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me for teams that are, and I'm not saying it's only the Rangers, but any team that happens to. If you're stuck in a rebuild, you're stuck in a rebuild. Sometimes it takes a few years. And what, you're going to get penalized because of luck? I don't think that's right. I do like the idea of the 10 spots max and only 2 spots being up for lottery, but the idea of removing all luck or removing all eligibility for the lottery just because you've won it twice, I think that's wrong. And especially now, like say you've won a spot, you can only move up 10 spots max. Say you move up to sixth place in the draft. How is that? I mean, yeah, you're winning the. It's just a proposed rule. It's not a rule yet. It's the proposed change, so we're just kind of dissecting it. But yeah, I think it's just. I think it's just weird. I don't like it. But
Fair enough.
yeah.
All right, my last take here is that Tampa is going to raise the banner for the 2020 or the 2019-2020 season in front of their fans for the first time being able to come to a game. That should be
like
fun.
that.
I mean, I don't know. It's weird for it to be this late in the season. Obviously, like there's no avoiding that. That's strange. I think it's cool of them to have waited, but at the same time, it's like there's kind of like no magic to it. I feel like there's no magic to it unless you're in the arena. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, we know we're like halfway done with this season. Somebody else is going to win the cup in like a minute. So I don't know, but it's I don't know. I feel like if I was in their position, I probably would have done the same thing. Wait for the fans and have it be more of a celebration, at least for their team. But
Yeah.
it's just a thing. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, there you go. So let's move into the weekend pickup suggestions. This is obviously on a Friday, so if you don't have same day pickup ads, some of these won't be as valuable. But I tried to stick to people that also I like kind of going into next week and in the future as well. My first one here is going to be Jordan Greenway, just continuing to play really well. Minnesota is clicking like crazy. They obviously have a game today and on Sunday, so if you do have same day ads, he's the best one. I picked him up in 2 leagues, so I do stand by Jordan Greenway.
Yeah, I've got him in a league or two as well. Could have been hits from him too.
Yeah.
I basically have like a blanket statement on Ottawa forwards, especially if you get 2 games out of him. I have like a little bit of an order here. Batherson, then Stützle, then Connor Brown, and then Josh Norris, probably who I'd be looking at. All those guys are with the exception of Connor Brown, actually, are the not Brady Tkachuk power play 1 players. And then Connor Brown is playing with Brady at even strength and has like a little bit of a knack for the goal. He's a guy that I tend to stream in and out in these situations, especially when he gets promoted to the top line, which happens now and again. He does tend to cash in to a little bit of an extent to be at least worth looking at.
Yeah. My next one from the Minnesota Wild as well is Jonas Brodin, specifically for blocks leagues more than anything. He actually has been getting some points occasionally as well. That's mostly just because Minnesota in general has been just wild.
Don't do that.
It was on a silver platter. I had to do that one. I'm sorry. Just a pun kind of day. So Jonas Brodin, I do like him a lot for blocks. First and foremost, with a kind of a chance at points as well. And he plays Friday, Sunday, so not a bad option.
Yep. Speaking of Friday, Sunday, I've got 3 from the Kings actually. The first one would be Adrian Kempe. He is all positional eligible, center, left wing, right wing. Obviously not defense, I guess, but 43% roster at this point. He's been scoring goals like crazy. Obviously, it's going to come down, but he is like a shooter and tries to make the most of the power play time that he gets. So he's super unsustainably high right now, and he was such on our Wednesday show. But still worth a look if he's available in your league and you're looking for somebody to potentially score goals, get power play points, or shoot in general. Alongside him would be Alex Iafallo, left wing 10%. He's kind of the opposite. Doesn't shoot at all, but he's been picking up points as well to a bit of an extent. I grabbed him in my dynasty league pretty recently. And then lastly here, Jeff Carter, who's like right in the middle. He has also been getting some points, but does not play power play 1. He's also got triple eligibility, center, left wing, right wing, only 13% rostered. And he is a 3-shot a game guy with that sprinkles some hits in. So a nice little addition to have on any team that's chasing those categories going into the weekend.
I do like those, and I ended up picking up a King as well, or Kings for this weekend as well, and for the week. I mean, man, Adrian Kempe, what a week he has had. Loving it. I have 2 more, but I'll take only one. Oliver Bjorkstrand playing around 19 minutes again. His shots have actually come down a little bit. Not the greatest thing in the world, but I do like kind of what he's doing. He has 2 goals now, 2 straight games. Yeah, I just like all over Bjorkstrand. He's playing with Line A now. That line seems to be clicking. Honestly, I don't know why they didn't do that from the beginning. I feel like he should have been there to begin with. But yeah, Oliver Bjorkstrand. Good kind of gamble for now.
All right, my last one, and I just have a feeling I'm going to get grammar schooled on it, probably for the second time, is Jake Odinger. I can't remember if it's Odinger or Otinger. I think it's Odinger.
Odinger? I don't
I
remember
think
if
it's
it's Odinger.
I think it's Oat.
I think it's Oat.
We're live streaming, so somebody I'm sure will tell me I'm stupid or that I'm smart or that I'm both.
Both.
Yeah. Goal weight 13%. He's a good just a good grab for this weekend. Dallas playing a back-to-back. He's guaranteed to get a start. He's been playing better than Dobby lately. Could see him string together a little bit before Bishop's return. So we'll see.
Wow, it is Odinger.
Odinger?
It's odd. Interesting. He should play in Ottawa.
He shouldn't.
I'm
sure he's happy not to.
I'm sure he's happy in Dallas. I'm sure he's fine there. Okay, so the next one here, Rope Hintz for me is the last one. Who knows if he'll be healthy? He seems to keep getting injured every time. His minutes kind of all over the place. Dallas
He's
as a whole
the
seems...
forward version of Matt Grizzlick.
Yeah, I just don't understand the forward version of Matt Grizzlick, who is the defenseman version of Antti Ranta, pretty much.
Right. There's one for every spot.
There's one for every position. Yeah, I don't know. I like Rope Hintz. If I had to take a gamble on Dallas that's kind of lower owned, I'd go Rope Hintz. There's other options, obviously, and Radulov now is definitely, interesting, and he's healthy. I just don't know where he's going to slot into the lineup yet. But I do like Rope Hintz for now. But Dallas, like I said, is just all over the place. You don't know when they're going to score 7 goals or none. I'm not very high on them personally. I think they're way too inconsistent for my liking. But as a whole, I do like that. I do like that move. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That is the episode. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in and listening and joining the live stream and the super chat and everything. It's been fun. This is a different way of doing very different way of doing an episode.
Yeah, we didn't have time to record it on Thursday night, so
yeah.
Friday episodes on Friday. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, Friday episode on Friday. Who knew? Well, as much as I'd love to stick around, we do have Sit Start Saturdays. And I actually have work to do, and I'm sure many of you have work to do as well. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe not. We won't tell your bosses. Don't worry. Yeah, I think we're going to sign off unless you have time, Brandon.
Nope.
The beard? Oh, yeah, the
beard's gone. Thanks for listening. For anybody
it's gone for a bit. Yeah.
It's listening on the pod. I don't know where we're going to stop the audio, I guess now. But
I guess now. But anyways, yeah. Thanks so much for tuning in to this one.
Oh, by the way, I definitely didn't record my audio, so we're going to have to pull the audio from the video, I guess.
Oh, that's all good.
Whoops.
I look like Shane Gostisbehere. What?
That doesn't
I got
sound
soccer
right.
player. I got soccer player, which I believe. I mean, I did play soccer growing up like crazy. I think Gostisbehere. I'm gonna look up I don't think I look like Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere looks like me. Okay, I do not look like Shane Gostisbehere. Maybe when he has a helmet on. I don't see it. Anyways, that's an interesting one though. I'd never gotten that one. Look like a Man City fan. That's funny. That's a good one actually. It's a good shirt.
Our bar for grammar school is if we say it as well as the announcers do, we're fine.
Yeah, that's our bar. Is if we're doing it like announcers, then we're good. I also look like a child. That's okay. Look like you got plastic surgery. That's the best one. Okay. Anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Catch you next time.
Yep. See you guys. All right, I've ended the live stream.
Okay.